Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something that feels like a truly Canadian problem. All those massive, beautiful parts of our country where our smartphones suddenly become, well, pretty useless. We're looking at a brand new technology from Rogers that's aiming to fix that using satellites. So, is this the tech that finally gets us all connected? Let's find out.
You know the feeling, right? You're out at the lake, hiking deep in the mountains, maybe just driving between cities, and then you see it, that dreaded no service icon. It's that moment you're totally off the grid. And Rogers is making a huge bet that they finally found the solution.
And just how big is that bet? Well, it all comes down to this number, 2.5. Rogers claims this new service will give them 2.5 times more coverage than any other provider in Canada. I mean, if they can actually pull that off, that's a massive game changer.
And here's the core promise they're selling us on. The whole idea is to get rid of the need for those clunky, expensive, specialized satellite phones. The goal is to make the smartphone that's already in your pocket work just about anywhere in this country.
Okay, so to really understand why a solution like this even matters, you got to appreciate the size of the problem. That brings us to our first section, Canada's coverage gap. This is the fundamental challenge, the shared experience, that makes this technology so incredibly relevant.
Just let that number sink in for a second. 5.4 times million square kilometers. We are not talking about patching a few spotty dead zones in the suburbs here. This is about bringing a connection to a landmass that completely dwarfs many countries. We're talking remote lakesides, the Rockies, you name it. This is where that 2.5x number really comes to life.
So the problem is absolutely huge. How in the world does this technology actually plan to solve it? That leads us to Section 2, a satellite in your pocket. Let's dig into how they're planning to make this happen. You know, at its core, the concept is kind of beautiful in its simplicity. If you can't build a cell tower somewhere on the ground, well, why not just put one up in space? The service uses a whole network of satellites that your phone can connect to directly the moment it loses that regular cell signal. Maybe the coolest part about this is how seamless it's supposed to be. You don't have to flip a switch or open an app. When you wander out of cell range, your phone should just automatically find the satellite network. You'll see your carrier name change to Rogers Satellite, and boom, you can send and receive texts, and most importantly, you can use text to 911. All right, this all sounds pretty amazing in theory, but it leads to the big practical question, can your phone actually do this? Time for Section 3, is your device ready? Let's talk about which phones work and how you can sign up. So here's the deal. While a lot of modern phones are going to work with this, there are basically two tiers. You've got your satellite-optimized devices, which means the manufacturer built specific software for this, so you should get a really smooth experience. Then you have not satellite-optimized phones. They're verified to work for the basics, but your mileage may vary a little. So we're generally talking about fairly recent phones here. Think iPhone 13 and up, the last few generations of Samsung's Galaxy S series, and the newest Pixels. But please remember, this is not a complete list. You'll definitely want to hop on the official Rogers site to check if your specific model is good to go. The sign-up process itself is pretty simple, but check out Step 3, because this is a really big deal. You do not have to be a Rogers customer to try this out. The beta trial is open to customers of any Canadian carrier. As long as you have a compatible unlocked phone, you can add the service using what's called an eSIM. Okay, so your phone is compatible, you're all signed up. What's it actually like to use right now? This is where we need to set some clear expectations. Let's get into Section 4, the beta trial experience. This part is so important to understand. For now, during this beta phase, this is a text-only service. No pictures, no videos, just text. And because it's brand new tech that needs a clear line of sight to a satellite, the performance is going to vary. A message might zip off in seconds, or it could take a couple of minutes. If you're in a deep valley or under a thick canopy of trees, that can affect your connection. Now, if you're an iPhone user, you might be thinking, hold on, doesn't my phone already have a satellite feature? And that's a great question. The key difference is that Apple's service is strictly for emergencies. You can't use it to text your friends. The Rogers service is designed for everyday texting, and it's actually the primary satellite service your phone will now use. Apple's becomes the backup option. And here is, without a doubt, the most critical feature.
Using text to 911 is simple. Just start a new text to the number 911. The absolute key is to put all the essential info in that very first message, who you are and what the emergency is. And hey, iPhone users, pay close attention to step 5. You might see a prompt for Apple's SOS service pop up. If you want to use the Rogers service, you need to tap Return.
All right, we've covered what this is and how it works. But what about the cost? And where is this all headed? Let's jump into our final section, the fine print and the future.
So right now, during the beta, this service is totally free. But you're going to want to circle a date on your calendar, October 31st, 2025. That's when the free trial is expected to end. And this is important, unless you go in and cancel it, your subscription will automatically roll over into a paid plan.
So how much is that paid plan? Well, if you happen to be on one of Rogers' top-tier Ultimate plans, it's actually included for no extra charge. For everyone else, it's slated to be $10 a month for the first year, and then it'll go up to $15 a month after that.
But here's the thing. Text only is just the very beginning. The future roadmap for this technology is way more ambitious. They're talking about eventually adding picture and video messaging, data services, and even full voice calls over satellite. That would truly deliver on that original promise of turning your regular phone into a real-deal satellite phone.
So that's the explainer on Rogers Satellite. It's a brand new technology for sure, with some very real limitations for now. But its potential is enormous. Which really leaves us with one big question. Are we watching the first real step towards finally getting rid of the dead zone for good in Canada? It's a pretty exciting thought. Thanks for joining us.